how long have you been a Muslim? Can you just tell us a bit about how you accepted Islam, where you're from? I mean, we're here in Chicago now.
Sure.
So yeah, just let some of the viewers know like how you accepted Islam.
For myself, I had both sides of the spectrum. The most popular religions, I guess you could say, in not only the United States but the world is probably Islam and Christianity. That's probably the most popular. So I had a little bit of taste of both growing up. My father on his side was they were Muslims. On my mom's side, they were Christians. I even had a little bit of taste of Catholic religion as well. So growing up, I had a little bit of both, and I was mostly listening more to the Christian side because that's what I was with my mother all the time, and I would hear that, you know. So from that point on, I was going to many different like Christian conferences, I guess you could say, and Christian conventions, because there's many different sections of Christianity, and for this particular one, it was called non-denominational. This was one where it's prosperity preachers like Creflo Dollar and T.D. Jakes, and
so it's just like born again Christianity.
Yeah, born again Christian. You know, you're coming in and it's just always music, exciting. You know, it's a great big show. You know, it's almost like going into a concert all the time. You know, so I remember going when I was younger, and I remember like I always just kind of went with the crowd. I always just followed and did what my mother said and listened because, you know, it's my mother. You have to listen to what your parents say. So I listened. You know. And then when I go to my dad's house, he's saying some things about Islam and I'm listening, but I was still very young. I was 12, 13 at the time, and I didn't understand a lot of it, you know.
So your mum's Christian and your dad is Muslim?
Yeah.
So where's your dad from?
My dad's actually originally from Bosnia, over in the former Yugoslavia. And I'm here from both sides, and I accepted Christianity, but only as that's all I knew. You know, that's what I heard most about. I guess you hear something most of the time, 80% of the time, so you accept that for what it is, you know. And I'm going to these conferences and I'm seeing all these different things. And I was growing up, I actually got to the point when I was around teenager, maybe 17, 18, I started moving away. I started going away from it. I wasn't even thinking about Islam. I still believed in God. I still believed that there was a creator. I think you can look outside and see too many beautiful things to not believe that there's a creator, you know. But I didn't want to listen to anything about Jesus, peace be upon him. I didn't want to listen to Muhammad, peace be upon him. I just said, I want to believe in God. That's it. Everything else is just extra specifics, you know. So then after that, I had some bad times. I was basically, I look at it as bad looking back now. Other people might look at it as normal. Going to the clubs, partying, girls, just the good times, you know. I look at it as like
good bad times.
I joke around. I call them the haram days. You know, those are the days like where it's like
Jahiliyyah.
Yeah, I'm not proud of those days. You know, but I still going through that. I think I learned some things, but then I started researching more into Islam when I guess I can attribute it to my cousin Eddie, where he started the Deen show. You know, and when he started doing this, now I started raising a lot more questions. You know,
I mean, your cousin Eddie has a famous show online, thedeenshow.com. And you're one of the cameramen. You work on the set with him. And how did that help you into looking into Islam? Because you just tell us a bit about that.
Alhamdulillah, man. I had so many different opportunities to be able to talk to so many different scholars and unbelievable knowledge, you know, of Islam. You know, there's a lot of people probably out there that they don't have the access or maybe don't know where to go, and they just they're kind of lost just listening to all the misconceptions, you know. But alhamdulillah,
so you got a chance to meet all the people on the show, right?
Every time somebody would come to the show, I would record it. I'm listening to the topics, but I'm also talking with the guests. You know, I would hear, you know, Hakeem Quick and Khalid Yassin, all these great guests, very powerful speakers. You know, I'm listening to them, I'm asking
and meeting them.
It's amazing, you know. So this, I think, was a way for me to like kind of get my foot in the door and start learning about Islam. And I took it, and of course Eddie, my cousin, he was telling me about it and giving me dawah as I went. But
so did you just come straight into Islam, like accept everything?
No. It was about a year actually. I took about a year. I look back now, it was pure procrastination, you know. But for myself, I looked for everything wrong with it, you know, because at the same time while I was looking, I would ask my mother questions as well. Where did she think of this, and this? And then right away, she kind of knew something was going on too. So everything was kind of behind the scenes. I was kind of looking at things, but I didn't want too many people to know. And then finally, I every time I'm looking for something new, there was nothing that I could prove wrong. It was always something that proved something right, you know? Always something that made more sense, always something that kind of brought me closer to this book, it brought me closer to this religion and everything within it, you know? And yeah, and then finally I just said, you know what, no more procrastination, let's do it. And I took the Shahada.
So where did you take the Shahada?
I was actually with my cousin Adam. And I mean, I'm here at the school always, you know, this martial arts school I work at. And I was with my cousin Adam. And I told him, like, you know what, man, this, I don't want to wait anymore. This just makes sense. I want to do it. And just took my Shahada at that point.
Allahu Akbar.
Yeah.
So how do you feel since then?
Man, everything like...
How many years has it been?
A little less than 3 years now, I think. Yeah.
So how have you changed? Has it helped you in your life?
Everything has changed. You know, everything from the little details down to like discipline. You know, just like what's funny. Even before I was Muslim, I was fasting.
SubhanAllah.
You know,
you find this so much.
Yeah.
I was the same.
Yeah.
And you find so many people, they fast, they even try and pray.
Yeah.
And you know.
Yeah, there was. Basically, I took all the stuff that I was actually already doing it, but I never said the Shahada to go and actually finalize it. You know, it's like I got the house, I picked the house, I did it, but I never finalized the contract.
Yeah.
You know, so I was waiting, and then once I did it, then I was basically just implementing everything I'd learned. I started praying, I started, you know, I went to Al-Maghrib institutes, I started going to different conventions, and it's funny how I went from one convention to the different conventions, and it's...
so you used to go to these big Christian conventions, and now you go to a big Muslim convention.
Yeah, completely different.
So, I mean, before Islam, I know you was into, like, rap music, you was into your music, yeah?
Yeah, it was
Can you tell us a bit about that and what you're doing now?
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's like every teenager that kind of grows up, music is very prevalent, you know, whether you're into hip-hop, whether you're into rock, or whether you're into pop music, you know, everyone kind of has a piece of something, and that's all they kind of surround themselves with, you know. For me, I was always listening to the old school hip hop and old school, you know, the type of rap music, you know. So every time I listened to this, I was being fed with this. I call it garbage, you know. I call it now. It's like just a waste of time, you know. Because imagine the hours and everything you put into it. So looking back, I'm so happy now. I don't listen to any of that anymore, you know. But as I transitioned into kind of like living as a Muslim and doing everything day by day, I still felt these thoughts in my head of like these rhymes and these rhythms and all these different things, because it was ingrained within me. Like I would listen to it for so long, you know. So I started basically doing things with spoken word. I started seeing videos that kind of inspired me. But one thing I started learning is that a lot of these videos that I'm seeing, it wasn't catching my attention as much as I think it could, you know, because a lot of things you're seeing where saying a lot of Arabic words and saying a lot of terminologies that maybe a basic person, even American, wouldn't even know, you know. So I figured what I would do is I would kind of make it simpler, make it catchy, kind of talk about subjects that people maybe want to listen about, kind of clear up some misconceptions. And I decided to make like a spoken word channel on YouTube. And it has humble beginnings. There's nothing special, no huge production value, but something starts from, you know, I had to start something from nothing, you know.
SubhanAllah, I mean, you've had many people have viewed your spoken word. Yeah. You know, many people on YouTube are clicking and watching. You know, you've had so much good feedback. I mean, are you going to do some more?
Inshallah, I mean, when I have some time, I really do. I already have some stuff written down. I want to do it. I have to kind of just take myself and motivate myself to really do it. And hopefully, you know, Allah can help me and guide me to do what I want to put out there, you know.
Inshallah. So, thanks for sharing your story, bro.
No problem.
Jazakallah.
What if life wasn't meant to be so difficult and crazy? Where every second and every minute of the day just feels like mental slavery? Where every problem that comes into your life, the solution to your problem doesn't have to seem so hazy? In fact, if you go down the right path, it can be crystal clear. Because down this path, there is no doubt, no confusion, no contradiction, and nobody telling you to just have faith and hey, somehow it'll all work out. At the end of the day, this existence we all live in did not just make itself. Something divine and all-knowing brought you into this world with a clean bill of health. The animals, the trees, the 7 seas, the air you breathe, all live in complete coexistence and in perfect harmony.